Welcome back. My name is Mary McLeod Jones, and I'm going to be acting as a moderator today as we discuss SIP building best practices with electrical. We have two downloadable free brochures, the first one being Building with SIPs Need to Know, and electrical is covered in Chapter 9. So please go to sips.org and download this free brochure. We also do a little deeper dive into the topic with SIP Builder Best Practices 9, SIP Electrical. Because certainly there's nothing like real life experiences. And so Al Cobb is going to be talking about the highlights of both of these publications and also sharing some of his real world experiences. So without further ado, Al, take it away.
Okay, Mary, I'll jump right in. The highlights that are gone over in the brochure, I'm holding the brochure up there, in the 9th chapter under electrical are pretty straightforward. Mostly it talks about how do I wire? How do I get electrical through? Because that's the number one question. And industry has taken the obvious step to try to make SIPs simple when it comes to electrical, which means the panels have built-in chases, electrical chases, which act like a conduit that allow the electrician to pull wires through the panel internally. And this gets a wire from point A to point B buried inside the panel. And when those chases are located in the correct location and everywhere that we need them, then it makes the rough-in electrical very simple. One of the techniques that I like to use is always recommending that a vertical chase be applied right next to a doorway. And that way, that vertical chase can pick up not only a plug, but also a switch, which is typically where our switches are, right next to doorways, and also continue upwards to pick up a sconce light or something of that nature. SIP chases are standard in the industry. Therefore, each manufacturer typically has a standard layout of chases. Most of them will follow a standard plug height horizontal switch or horizontal chase, a switch height horizontal chase, and then vertical chases, which can be either random or very specifically located within the panels. And that doesn't mean that you have a chase everywhere that you need it. It means that it's a good starting point. And as all things SIP related, planning for your project is important, and going over the location of these chases to make sure that you have a pathway for the electrician to get everywhere that he needs to get. In fact, I'd say planning is one of the biggest things that you need to do so that the electrician is aware of how he's going to wire these SIPs. I often recommend that the electrician stop in on the job site while the panels are being installed. And this should give the electrician that warm, fuzzy feeling that they know how then to approach the project if they've never done SIPs before. One of the things you want to avoid is this electrician that has worked on a SIP project where the wire chases either did not exist, or there was no planning, or the installer didn't understand what needed to be done to make it easy for the electrician. And in those processes, electrical wiring in a SIP can be very frustrating. So you want to deal with somebody that maybe understands SIPs, understands proper installation of the SIPs so that it's done properly for the electrician, and dealing with an electrician that visits the job site and gets to know the project as well as how the SIPs are chased and what work the installer does to make that installation of the rough-in much easier for you. So those are kind of the highlights. Incredibly important that after the rough-in inspection is completed, and before we close out electrical and do the final connections, that somebody be aware that going in and sealing around the plugs and the boxes and the switches with an expanding foam typically is the best way to seal up those chases so that air doesn't have the opportunity to move through that chase system. That nice big fat black marker that the installer uses to identify where holes have been drilled, where chases are, the path of wiring can be very, very helpful. And if those labels are made while the installation is going on, the inspector will be much happier when he shows up. So that's one of the things that I often teach installers that they should always be aware of when doing the installation. The SIP School has been around since 2006, and we do training both here in West Virginia at our location in this beautiful barn, as well as sometimes we'll do contract training for people that are interested in having us come out to train either a crew or a group of people, or entire manufacturers have me out sometimes to train their entire group. But yeah, I've been training installers for coming up on 2 decades now. And we're also launching, as you know, the online training. So if anybody goes to sipschool.org, our website, they can get additional information there.
So thank you so much for that. I also wanted to share that SIPA, as I said earlier, provides this brochure free of charge. Go to sips.org if you're not there already and download that brochure. SIPA also offers a 10-hour course that will help you become a SIP certified builder. It's between 8 and 10 hours, and you can take it at your leisure. We have everything here to get you guys up and running as SIP builders.